Welcome to the Books Between Friends podcast.
3 lifelong friends,
one shared obsession.
Books.
From epic fantasy to page-turning thrillers.
We dive into the stories we love
And the ones we just can't stop talking about.
So take a seat,
Grab a drink.
And get cozy.
All right, you guys. And speaking of cozy, what has been making you guys feel cozy this week? So for us, we finally got our fall decor out and put it out this weekend. And it was just in time because, yesterday was officially the first day of fall. So we are fully in the swing of things.
Finally. Now I'm just hoping the weather will catch up soon enough.
Yeah, we're manifesting
Right?
the weather because it's still hot as hell.
Please, please.
and humid, so
God.
And so, for those that don't live in Texas, or even some parts of Texas, because Texas is huge,
Yeah.
we had
Right.
this huge rainstorm pass through yesterday, and
For you guys.
now, and even this morning. So now it's incredibly humid outside, and it's just gross and muggy. And
Come on, cold weather.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, knowing Texas, it won't happen until like February anyway.
I know. I
So,
was going to be optimistic and say November, but yeah.
no.
Well, what's keeping me cozy this week was there are certain weekends where I spend time with my family, or I'll go somewhere, or I have to get up and go, work on my dissertation or something. But there are other weekends where I can sleep in and I can do other things. And so this past weekend was one of those weekends where I slept in, y'all. I woke up, I made myself 2 cups of coffee because one was just not enough. And I just sat on the couch and read for a few hours. And I kept telling myself, okay, just another 100 pages. Okay, no. I'm at this point now. I can read another 50 pages. So I just kept
Classic.
going and going
Yeah.
and going until I remembered that I had to be an adult and had to go buy groceries. So, but those little weekend rituals that just getting up late, making coffee and sitting on my couch to read, that keeps me so cozy. So for however many weekends I can do it, I do it as much as I can, but I know that there are weekends where I'm busy and I can't do it. So I enjoyed it this past weekend.
Love it. Love it. So for me, I'm going to give I guess a couple of things. I'm still going to say I'm reading, and I just finished my horror novel that I was reading.
Yay.
And it was so good. And I was I predicted what would happen almost towards the beginning. I was this is how it's going to end. But
Yeah.
I still had a really good time getting to that destination.
Love that.
So yeah, it was really worthwhile in reading. I enjoyed it thoroughly. But keeping in with spooky mystery time of year that it is,
Yeah.
I started watching. Now I started watching out of order, so I need to go back to the first season. But only Murders in the Building.
That's something I've been wanting to get into.
I haven't heard of that.
It's with Selena Gomez.
Selena Gomez, Steve Martin, and Martin Short.
I've heard of that. I just didn't know the title of it because I know she was in something like that recently.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
it's got a couple
well,
seasons now, right?
Yeah, they're on season 5.
I'm way behind.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys, I live under
been
a
out
rock
for a minute.
sometimes. Yeah, so.
Yeah, she came out with that recently. Yeah, 5 years ago.
Yeah, like 5 years ago.
My bad.
Oh
But
my
it
God.
is really entertaining. And I started watching on season 5 because apparently each season is a little bit of a different story. You have the same characters in it, but it's a different mystery to solve each season. And
That's cool.
Cool.
yeah, this one, it was so entertaining. I just love the chemistry of all the actors. It's fun. But highly recommend.
Oh, okay. I'll check it out since it just came out for me.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah, it just came out. You have
This
5
new
seasons
show,
to
have you heard
binge.
of it?
For me. It just came out for me, okay?
Yeah.
And they're around 30-minute episodes too. So
Oh,
it's
That
okay.
is
Yeah.
Perfectly
perfect. I
bingeable.
love shows, but man, when they're an hour long, I'm like,
It's
who's
hard.
giving
It's
up?
a commitment.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. It's like basically watching a whole movie. And so you can only do one a night or whatever.
I mean, yeah. I'm still in the middle of my rewatch of Stranger Things, so I'm pretty sure I'll finish it before obviously the new season comes out. But I'm just I forgot how fucking good it is, y'all.
So good.
So good.
Hey, book friends, it's Ethan. When I think about cozy reading essentials, slippers are at the very top of the list. A while back, I got my first pair of Bombas gripper slippers, and honestly, I wasn't expecting them to feel all that different from the other brands that I tried. But here's the thing. These are next level. They keep my feet warm and toasty without ever looking frumpy, so I can curl up with a book feeling both cozy and stylish. Bombas just knows how to do comfort right. And the best part is that for every item you buy, they donate one to someone in need. Since we're affiliates with Bombas now, we've dropped our link right into our newsletter. So if you're ready to upgrade your cozy essentials, be sure to subscribe and check it out there. You can always find the link in our bios on all of our social media accounts. We are Books Between Friends Pod across all social media platforms. It's a small way to support the show while keeping your toes happy. Now, let's get back to the episode.
We are so excited to get into part 3 of our discussion on Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wang in this episode. But before we get started, I'm going to kick it back over to Ethan real quick for a quick PSA.
All right. Thanks, Steph. So before we get started, quick spoiler warning. If you're listening to this episode, we are assuming you've read the first 18 chapters of Blood Over Brighthaven because there are going to be some major spoilers throughout this episode. So just be prepared for that. And then also, guys, if you are loving the show, like we're loving making it for you, we would love for you to interact with us in Apple Podcasts. If you would subscribe, follow, and shout us out with a comment. We would love to hear from you. So just be sure to interact with us, and we'll see you in the comments.
Okay, so let's do a quick summary of this section. So it starts with Sayana, again, sinking into despair in her bedroom at Aunt Winnie's until a visit from the doctor forces her to pull herself together. Using him as a sounding board, she realizes that she can't erase her feelings, but she can channel them into action. And also that she's going to need Tomil's help to do that. So before going to Tomil's apartment, she stops at the bakery to get some scones as a peace offering for him. And while there, she learns why Karseth committed suicide, the baker's son. While working as a barrier guard, the cruelty of what they were forced to do to the Quinn sent him over the edge. And after reconciling with Tomil, she tells him that she's going to talk to Brigham to confirm if he knows the truth and promises that if he tries to lie to her, that she will just play along with his lie. So when she confronts Bingham, he admits he did lie. Most of the High Magistracy and the city officials know the truth, but justify it as God's will. Sayana realizes she can't change his mind and plays along as she promised. She then tells Bingham about her discovery of windows into the other realm, and he gets excited to see her demonstrate at their proposal in a few days. After her conversation with Bingham, while she's in the library gathering books on mapping, Renthorn comes and assaults her. But thankfully, Tom Hill saves the day and intervenes and knocks him out. And then after that happens, more of her colleagues come upon them, and when they notice Renthorn has been knocked out, they assume that Tomil was the one who assaulted her. And to protect him, Sayana publicly fires him and covers with a lie about him accidentally firing one of her conduits. And before leaving the Magus Center, she stops at the janitor's office and borrows Mr. Dermick's keys and the spellograph that Tomil broke in her lab. With Alba's help, she repairs the spellograph and creates a complex spell web. She goes back to see Tomil and Kara, and she tells them her plan to expose the truth. Tomil warns she'll only end up executed like Sabernan did, but Sayana insists she has to try. She also tells them about a fail-safe plan that she has in case the worst happens, but she'll need their help to pull it off. Disguised as janitors, Sayana and Kara infiltrate the Magus Center, swapping out the spell papers in the master spellographs with ones she and Tomil wrote. Sayana narrowly avoids discovery by Archmage Supreme Ornhill in his office while she was copying the spell, then rejoins Kara and Tomil outside. On the way back to the safe house, she and Tomil grow closer, sharing painful histories, confessions, and even imagining what a family together might look like.
I know, that's what I was thinking. I was like, honestly, that was kind of
your
like
romance
a good way to
side
stop.
was probably screaming.
It definitely was. I was like latching onto the looks they were giving each other. And I'm like,
It's the pining, the pining.
oh, the pining, y'all,
Exactly.
is honestly one of the best things of a romance. Well, in my humble opinion, of course.
Sure, sure. Okay, so now we're going to get into our discussions. So, again, just to remind you all, we're doing a 3-2-1 structure, starting with 3 things that stuck out to us. Then we're going to go into 2 character moments and 1 theory or prediction. So, to kick us off, my first of 3 things is what the heck is her master plan? Like, I know that they went and switched out the spell papers and she wrote this complicated spell web, but like, what is that going to do? I really don't understand.
So glad you brought that up because
Yes, same here.
honestly, like her explanation of the plan really dragged on, and I still
And she
couldn't
didn't really
even
say.
exactly like you're right. Like, what are those spells gonna do? Like, what is that gonna do to the barriers that Because like obviously now they found out that the reserve or whatever where the Quen do the crossing, like
Yeah.
that blight is like it's ongoing. So that's where they get a
Mhm.
lot of their energy from, right? And
That's
so
why it's
she's
so
trying
hard to
s-
cross. Yeah.
Right. So she's trying to stop that, but I don't know what it is she's trying to do if she's not going to blow it up.
No. To me, it sounded like she was going to expose the truth of the blight. But what she was explaining to Kara while they were doing this is that the reserve towers power like the electricity, the water, and like basically runs the city, like just all
Right.
the regular utilities that are needed to run a city. And I'm like, how can you expose
Right.
the blight with like power that's meant to do those things? I don't understand.
Right.
I'm just confused, y'all.
I
I
am too,
know.
though. I am too. I didn't get it. I didn't get it either. And like, I feel like the more she tried to explain it, the more lost
less
I
I got
felt.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because there was a lot of explanation of process of here's what we're going to
Right.
do, but there was no explanation of the why behind it.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, that sounds good. Why? Like, why
Right.
are we doing
Yeah.
this?
What will it
What
do?
is this? What is the
Right.
ultimate outcome here? So I
Yeah.
have a
Right.
couple of thoughts that are going to serve as my prediction.
Okay. I really
But
want to
yeah,
hear
I
those.
don't. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it was like, shut up and get to the point. Like,
Yeah.
because
I think that's
yeah,
why
that
I was a little frustrated in this whole section because I was like, I need to understand how exactly are you going to expose the truth, and
Right.
like to the point where people will care enough to react to do something about it.
And I kind of bring this up later in my own prediction too, but I'm just going to say it here because we're talking about it. Or I'm not telling you my prediction, just what I thought about Sayana. I know
Okay.
she's smart. I get
Yeah.
that. She's obviously very smart. She can, she was able to figure out things that other people haven't been able to figure out. I don't think she's
Yeah.
clever. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah,
yeah,
I agree.
like street smart,
Totally.
almost like she
Right.
needs to
And
have.
I'm just like, you're not making any sense, hon.
She's very black and white thinking, and I don't think she thinks outside the box.
And we need her to, especially with something
Right.
this
She's not
big.
used to that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. She's
Right,
an
the only-
academic. That's why. She's
Yeah,
book
the only
smart,
thing
not
we've
street
seen
smart.
her. Yes, yeah, absolutely. The only thing we've seen her do that is outside of the box is apply Stravos's stuff to a different kind of method.
And even
Right.
then, that was more academic than clever.
She got it out of a
Right.
textbook. Yeah.
Yeah. And it serves her, right? Like it
Right,
doesn't
right.
it doesn't really serve anyone else. She did it for her, like to see what she could get out of it,
Mm-hmm.
to create her own method.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so
Right.
I will
it
talk
comes
more
out
about
of
how I felt.
selfishness.
Yes, I was gonna say
Mhm.
I will talk more on that, like about Sayana. I love the girl, I really do. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
saying I don't, but I have thoughts on her.
Yeah.
We'll
She's
get to
definitely
that.
got some limitations. So anyway,
Yeah.
that was my first thing is like, what is this master plan? I don't get it.
Yeah.
Second thing was Sion and Tamil. I'm scared, you guys. Like their romance is just budding.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we know that whatever this plan is that she's trying to do, it might get her killed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Tamil cares about her enough to the point where if he thinks she's about to die, he might take the fall for her. So I'm just worried. I think I don't think they're both going to make it out of this, whatever happens.
I can see that. I can totally see that. And honestly, she is, again, I'm going back to the fact that she's not clever. She is not thinking about the consequences at all. She lied about why she was firing Tamil. She was surprised that he got beat up for that. She's like, wait,
I know,
like I tried to cover
so
for you.
Naive.
I covered for you. That shouldn't have happened to you. He's like, what are you talking about? Of course they're going to beat me up. Of course that's going to happen. And then she was like,
obviously.
wait, you guys are leaving? Why are you leaving? Well, because now they have my address and where I live. So then now they're going to come looking for me. She's not thinking about
doesn't
that.
think about
Exactly.
these things. Yeah.
And so I think you're right. I kind of have that bad feeling too. And I think that's also why the author has not let us fall in love with their relationship either.
I know. I just have this pit in my stomach about them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it could ultimately, there seems to be such a huge influence of religion in this book. And what I think could happen is that her plan could work, but I think it might make her a martyr. And it would be like a new birth of this civilization.
Hello,
that needs to
Kelsier.
happen. Yeah, right?
Yeah. And here's the thing is that, like, I don't think that she thinks that could potentially be an outcome. I know she says she has this fail-safe for if the worst happens, but I don't know that she actually believes that could happen, you know?
Yeah.
So, So maybe my point here really is just like Sayana's naivete.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I
what
agree.
this could really mean.
Because there's a lot of it.
Yeah.
I'm
and I
worried
do
for her,
have
y'all.
that sense of dread too that you're talking about. So yeah.
And then my third thing is expanding the siphoning zone. So it was barely brought up when she was in Ornahill's office and pretending to scrub the carpet or whatever. The other high mages were talking to Ornahill about expanding the siphoning zone. So as we know now, the forbidden coordinates are actually the city of Tiran. And then there's the outer perimeter, which is where the 2 miles just outside of that, where that the Quen call the crossing, where people are just siphoning constantly. And that's why it's so hard to get across. And then outside of that, so we're looking at like circles here, if you're following my picture. Outside of that is the Quen, like the larger area of the Quen. What the other archmages were talking about in Ornahill's office is about expanding that area. And so I guess there's just like a defined area of the Quen that they do currently siphon from. And they were talking about potentially going out further than that. So I'm so curious about this area beyond the regular siphoning zone. There's got to be more societies out there. This is something we touched on a little bit in our last episode, where I'm like, okay, the Maedra, you know, like it sounded like they had built up something similar to the Magus Center with all this knowledge of magic and stuff. It doesn't seem like it's out there, at least in the known Quen right now. But if there's more world out there beyond where they currently siphon, I'm wondering, is that where the Maedra went? Like, I hope they're still out there, if they're still out there, you know? So I know we don't have a lot more book to cover after this episode, but I'm just really holding out hope that they're still out there.
Yeah. And my question about that whole thing was, he was tying it to like what God has given them. So
Right.
the God only gave them a certain perimeter or area they're allowed to siphon from, and then beyond that is like heresy. Like, was that right?
Yeah.
Like, did I get that part right?
Yeah, it
I
seemed
think-
like he wasn't necessarily totally against the idea, but he was just like, no, this is like our zone. Like, we need to worry about expanding the barrier before we worry about expanding the siphoning zone.
Yeah.
So he wasn't necessarily 100% shooting down the idea, but there's got to be a reason why, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It seems counterintuitive of you wanting to expand the barrier without expanding the siphoning zone, because what is Sayana doing there if that's not the intention, right? Like we know
Right,
that she
yeah.
needs to, like, she's put on the project of expanding the barrier, but she's also looking for other energy sources. So to me, that would imply that she's looking for, that she would have to look for other areas to siphon from. Because why would you want to expand the barrier but also not expand the areas where you can get energy from. Because it seems like that's part of Sayana's job as well,
right.
is to figure out. So if that is your objective, how would you not enlarge the siphoning zone? Like, that's just the question that came into my mind. And there was also a conversation that Sayana, and I think she was either having it with Tommel or Brigham, but it was a conversation about where they actually siphon from in the spellograph, and it made it seem like it was on a coordinate plane, and that 00, the origin is where Tiran is, but they only siphon like in one quadrant of the coordinate plane, rather than using all four, because he was like, well, couldn't you go down to like negative, like in the negative integers and stuff like that? He was
saying that, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he threw out a few coordinates and she was like, no, that's for this. And then he was like, how about that? And she was like, no, that.
That was a conversation they were having that she overheard. That was what the other guys
was that conversation.
Yeah, so she wasn't having that conversation. I think they were the ones having that conversation, that she was
and she was just thinking about it. She was like, oh, well, I mean, you could do that, but that's what this is used for.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, is that going to play into it? Like, I'm honestly at this point, I'm a little confused as to what's going to happen. Oh,
yeah.
Same.
I'm a little confused with all the questions that we have, and yet there's so little book left, and it's a standalone.
Yeah.
There's only 5 chapters left.
So I'm going to need a lot of questions answered.
Hopefully it'll all come together. But
Yeah.
that's where I'm at. Like, these are the things that are sticking in my head right now.
So here are my 3. I called it with Brigham, almost from the get-go.
You did.
I'm kind of disappointed, though, with this reveal. Because if he was going to be villainous, I want him to be an all-out villain. But the only reason he is villainous is because he is keeping the status quo. Like, he is not deigning to challenge anything. And I was like, you're too smart for that. Like, what a wasted brain if that's all you're willing to do with it. Like, well, almost like, how dare you? When you're so intellectually gifted, that this is like, but you're still willing to be limited without questioning, right? If there's one thing that I value as a teacher and I want to instill in my students, is the ability to question things for themselves and to think critically. And he's just not doing, none of them are, which is even more
head
infuriating.
in the sand or hiding behind like, it's God's will.
I was just about to
say
say that
these people die. Yeah.
But you know what, you guys? That isn't that the worst kind of villain, though? He's so nice about it. And he's just standing behind his morals and his dogma. And you can't question it. I'm just being,
the frustrating
what
kind.
God
I don't
wanted
know.
me to.
I don't know about the worst kind of villain, because especially with the series I'm reading right now.
Okay.
But I think it's the most frustrating kind of villain, because you're absolutely right. Like, they're going to be so nice about it and just so calm and just so like you said, just hiding behind what they believe in. I mean, doesn't that kind of remind you of a cult leader?
It reminds me of a lot of things.
It reminds me of,
We won't go there.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, like, there are certain cult leaders that do hide behind their religion because they're just so devoted, like overly devoted. And that's exactly what I think of when I think of Brigham.
Yeah.
I am disappointed too, though.
People who refuse to question their beliefs, even though logic necessitates it, is
we should learn to question
frustrating.
Everything, no matter what.
Always. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So incredibly frustrated and disappointed in Brigham. I would rather you just be completely an outright villain.
That's
so
what I'm
convinced
saying.
of
I
your
have
convictions.
more respect if you are just outright like, I'm big and bad and you will never question whether or not I'm on the good side or the bad side. Like,
I'm a straight up asshole,
I
y'all.
appreciate that 10 times more than someone who's just kindly hating you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
like,
yeah.
like feeding me poison with a smile, like that's what this is, and I don't care for it. On the other side of that, we have Renthorn, who actually is a villain. That's what I even wrote in my notes, is say this much?
Yeah,
because,
seriously.
Yes, he goes after Sayana and assaults her. But before he does that, he starts going in this like fit of pique that he's like, you figured it out, didn't you? Like, you figured out some kind of way to be able to see so clearly, like it's looking through a window. I want to know. I want to see it. I want to see it happen. I want to see the life leave their eyes, basically, is what he was saying. And I was
Gross.
like, oh, that is gross. And then he got like so in love with himself.
Yeah.
And in the moment that's when he started assaulting.
He was like
I was
heated.
like, ugh, gross.
I was disgusted the entire time I was reading that shit. I'm like, please be over. Please be over.
Yeah.
Do not let this happen. Do not let this happen. I was so upset the whole time.
Okay, so my third thing is the idea of religion here. And so I've been trying very hard not to incorporate certain ideals and themes into our discussion because they can be a little polarizing.
Mm-hmm.
But it just can't be denied here, really, because a love story to religion, this book is not.
Right.
It paints a very specific picture of what religion can do to a society and what a religion can enable in a society. Because really, if we think about it from the beginning, there was no religion. There was no religion, period. They just created it in order to justify what they were doing.
Right.
And so
to cover up
that's
their
what we're
lies.
Yes, that's what we're seeing here. And that's what really stuck out to me in this section, especially when she confronts Brigham, that, this just is the way it is. This is God's will.
Right.
And, the Quinn suck because they didn't come to know the Lord. They didn't come to know God like we do. And shame on them for doing that.
Yeah.
And even though this was years and years and years ago, the Quinn today still have to suffer. So sorry.
Yeah. I mean, that sounded a lot like what Sayana was saying in the very beginning. And obviously that's where she gets it from, right? Because she was just so devoted to her mentor and to her religion and everything. She was saying a lot of
Tamil. Yeah. When they were having their discussion. And so like she's seeing it now on the other side of things. I think it was a necessary interaction for her to really understand being on the other side of things and receiving that kind of pushback and just hiding behind this religious dogma.
Yeah.
And what it does. And it was actually really good to read through her thoughts while she was having this conversation with Brigham. I thought it was a good way to put it together, like you said, Ethan.
Yeah.
What religion can enable in a society and where it can lead.
Well, and the way she was firing back was exactly how Tamil fired back to her.
Yeah,
so I thought that was really interesting too. And I'm like, okay, look at you
like the
listening
roles
to
were
Tamil.
completely reversed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Like, wow, you picked it up. Good. I am so happy because I still go back and forth on Sayana.
Yeah. I think she's still getting there. Like even now at this moment,
Right.
Yeah.
Like I said, I love her. There's no doubt about that. It's just I go back and forth on how I feel about her. So, but again, I'll get to that whenever I get to my points.
It's a bit of a Rogue One-ish situation to me. Did y'all watch Rogue One?
Mm-mm.
Okay, well, it's the prequel to the first Star Wars movie way back when with Mark Hamill and so it's the prequel of that, of how the rebels get a blueprint of the Death Star and what it took to get it for the rebels to be successful. And ultimately our two main characters in Rogue One, they don't make it. But their whole mission was to serve a greater purpose so others could live.
Okay.
And that's what it feels like here. Like it's starting to happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whew. All right. So my three things. The first one, it doesn't really give to the rest of the story. It mostly just solidifies what this whole book has been about and the injustice of women, right? And how they're treated. But it was making me really angry. So I'm putting this down as my point because I was just getting so mad, line after line after line. So it was a conversation she had with the freaking doctor. So in the very beginning, when her Aunt Winnie went to go get the doctor because she was being so, out of control because she was crying and, she was having a freaking existential crisis. Like, God forbid she has emotions. Oh my God. There was just so many things that was said that truly pissed me off. But I'm just going to name a few because I can't read the whole chapter to y'all.
I know.
So one of the things that the doctor said was, then you must also be aware that as a female, you face unique mental challenges that do not afflict your colleagues. Mania is tragically common in women, especially those of intelligence unnatural to their sex. The other was to fulfill your God-given role as a woman, of course, to be a positive and pleasing presence to others, your husband, your family. I was so mad about that one, y'all. I cannot tell you how much that's been expected of me, y'all. Like, that is just an expectation for the fact that I'm almost 35. I'm not married. I don't have kids yet. That is a huge disappointment to some people.
Despite all of your accomplishments, that's the biggest failure, I guess.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
So that one really just like, woo, when I was reading that one.
Yeah.
And then the last one kind of goes along with this as well. This is a classic example of how dangerous it is for a female to pursue a career like yours. It's understandable with a mind as great as yours that you have aspirations beyond your sex, but the scientific truth is that these pursuits unsettle your mind and defy your nature. And I'm just like, dude, shut the fuck up.
It's so bad.
I would have like throat punched this guy the minute he walked into my house, but she had a whole purpose for why she was there, though.
But you know how frustrating it is to like have to sit there and listen to this and want to react naturally, you know, like I want to flip a fucking table and punch you out. And then they would just use that reaction as evidence for what they're saying.
Exactly.
It's so frustrating.
It is so frustrating.
I felt the same way reading this scene also. It was awful.
And I just hate the fact, and I think we've gotten a little better about it as a society, but there are still some cultures, there are still some people who look down on you for this, but like, it is so frustrating that women are looked down upon for having careers and not having families. And the problem is, like, I dated this guy recently. Well, not recently, it's been a few years, but I dated him and he said, you know, it's becoming a problem. Women who want to pursue careers forget about pursuing a family. And then by the time they realize they want a family, it's already too late for them. And I wanted to turn around and throat punch him because I'm just like, what the fuck? Shut up. How is that looked down upon? How is that our faults for wanting a career? Why is it just on us to do that? You know, why is that not looked down upon for a man to do that? I was just so angry. And then reading about it here, I'm like,
no one ever says that to a man.
Exactly.
He can be like well into his adulthood, have no family, and people would still praise his career. It's crazy.
No womanhood, no opinion.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
So what I did get out of this, though, besides being angry, was that she was putting him in his place about the whole thing. She was just quoting all the text to him. She was calling him stupid in her own way. It was hilarious to read. But then it also made her realize that she needs Tommel around because he is not afraid to look past the bullshit and to ask the real questions. Because she even realized, she's like, I can't talk to people. Like, this is how they think. I need somebody like Tommel who actually asks the real and hard questions. And so I love that about this whole situation.
Yeah.
Loved the ending. Hated the beginning.
Well, it even started with Aunt Winnie, because remember when she told Alba, I'm going to go get the doctor. And Alba was like, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, she needs a man, honey. Look at her. Oh, and we love Aunt Winnie, you know, but this stuff is so ingrained in society, even in women. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll let you continue.
No, dude, I'm telling you, like, I was so angry. Okay. Anyways, looking past that. So the next thing that really stuck out to me is a conversation that Sayana had with Tommel after she tries to take the blueberry scones as a peace offering and tries to apologize. I'm not gonna lie, it was a little painful to read.
Yeah.
Because I feel like even though Sayana discovered the truth behind siphoning and everything, she just still could not accept that the magistrate were all evil people and that they've known the truth all along. Like, even then, when she did confront the truth about them knowing, she still couldn't accept that her religion was wrong. Like, she's making progress and then she takes 2 steps back. But it's kind of like what you said in our last episode, Stephanie. It's not a linear process, you know, having to deprogram yourself from these beliefs and like leaning into the truth and leaning into what's right. Like, that's hard for some people. So like, I get it.
It is.
I still love Sayana, but there were a few things that she said that I wanted to point out. So she like tries to reason with Kara and Tamil, and this is right after Kara like tries to kill her, which I thought was kind of hilarious. Sayana tells her, "You can't hold all high mages to account for what a few of our founders did or tricked the rest of us into doing. And you shouldn't speak so ill of the current magistry. They have no knowledge of the other realm, and they're the reason you have a home here." And I just wanted to scream at her for saying that last part. I'm like, they had a home and they were forced to come here because they're being depleted of their home. Like they're killing
Yeah.
these people off. Like they have no home anymore.
Right.
I just think also too, her ambition and her ego are still getting the better of her because she wanted to believe that she was the only one of the high mages to have discovered this. And so she wanted to also use her new mapping method and call it the Freynin mirrors. And she wants to use that to like save the world, save society. And she's only thinking about herself and what people will think of her. So I'm still not really liking that whole ego sitting on a high horse kind of thing about Sayana.
Yeah.
It just makes
Well,
me a little...
remember that chapter at the end of her conversation with the doctor? It ended with her saying Sayana would be remembered.
Yep.
So her ego is definitely still poking out.
Yeah, because she's just missing the whole picture, y'all. Like even Tomo gets really frustrated with her. He was like telling her, like, okay, let's say you can stop the blight. That doesn't mean they're going to stop the way that, you know, the Tiranish are treating the Quen. That's completely wrong. And she still just cannot acknowledge that. So
Yeah. And this is before her conversation with Brigham, where she realizes that basically all of the High Magistry know, and all of their government. This is not a well-kept secret. It is an open secret at this point. And before realizing that, she was still giving them the benefit of the doubt, like, oh no, if I just show them, they'll stop. Her, you know, again, her naivety. But like Tamil pointed out to her in that moment, you know, they still treat us less than, even inside of Tiran.
Right.
And she still can't get it through her thick skull.
Yeah, no. So I'm a little frustrated with her. And then the last thing, I don't know if it's a big deal or not. It could be nothing, but I just wanted to bring it up. The truth behind who her father was. Did we know this already, by the way?
She brought it up before she took her exam, because they were talking about it was the same day. Yeah, it was the same day as some elections, and then she mentioned her, you know, she wanted to avoid someone who was passing out flyers for a specific councilman, and then she mentioned that it was her dad.
Do we think there's a significance here? Like it got brought up again.
Well, I think it's just part of like her character and like why she's so steadfast in wanting to prove herself, because she mentioned it a lot in her dialogue in this section that she was partially driven by proving to her dad that she would have been worth keeping around, because after her mother died, he sent her away to live with Aunt Winnie, and she thinks that it was probably because she was a girl and not a boy. Yeah. And he didn't really care for her because of that. And so she wanted to like kind of, show him, what her true worth was.
Okay. So yeah,
if we had more book, I think he might have significance, but we're getting close to the end.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, those were my 3 things that really stuck out to me this section.
Awesome.
Yay. So good.
Okay. Next, we're going to talk about 2 character moments that stood out to us. So for my 2, again, they're in the same chapter 13. And my first one was when Alba tells Sayana to get it together before the doctor arrives. I just love what she said to her. And again, this is the kind of support that women in Sayana's position need to be able to get to the position that she's in.
Yeah.
So Abba says to Sayana, I don't know what you're going through, Sayana, but I know one thing. I know there's no one else who can do what you do. Not your teachers, not your peers, not even the mages who came before you. And so that was what finally snapped her out of it, because Alba knew and Sayana knew that if she couldn't get herself together before the doctor came, they could potentially lobotomize her.
Yeah.
Which would completely cause her not to be able to do anything about what she was feeling. And so she knew at that point that whatever happened, she didn't want to let a man decide for her what she was going to do about this feeling. So love Alba. If it wasn't for her, who knows what would have happened when the doctor came, you know?
Yeah.
And then my second part was also in chapter 13 when Sayana was talking to the doctor and she realizes that she can channel this pain that she's feeling into doing something good about it. So the quote is, "The question isn't, how do I stop feeling this way? That's stupid. I can't. The question is, what do I do about this feeling?" And so I mentioned that at the end of our last discussion is that, like, obviously this is devastating to find out, you know, and it's absolutely crumbling the whole foundation of her belief. And that would be hard to grapple with. But the difference is what you do about it.
Right.
Are you just going to shut down and not do anything about it, or fly out of a window like she was about to? Or are you going to try to do something about it? Whether or not it kills you, it matters what you do with that information. So yeah, I'm just glad that she came to that realization in that conversation with the doctor, that obviously we can't change what has happened in the past, but now that I know this information, what am I going to do about it?
Yeah, there's just so much more she can offer and so much more she can do when she puts her mind to it, you know, because she has shown that already. So let's take this hurt, let's take this guilt, and let's put it into something useful.
Yep.
Love it. Love it.
So my two character moments. First, it's not the typical Tamil's Sayana on my list today. Kara made it on my list, and so I have a lot of respect for her. I don't know if I can completely 100% trust her just yet, because she seemed to come around to Sayana very quickly, a little too quickly, when she was so vehemently against her when she first met her. So it was a very quick turnaround, and it could very well just be because she thinks Sayana can do some good, even though she still doesn't like her, obviously. But she believes in her mission. So maybe that's where this is coming from. I don't know if she's going to do something to sabotage her in the end or what, but I could see it.
I think maybe she just knows it's so dangerous and she doesn't care that Sayana would get herself killed. She's
Probably.
like, all right.
Yeah, it could be that too. Yeah. But yeah, I respect the fact that she does not like Sayana, but she's still willing to work with her to do what's right.
Right.
But yeah, not only does she help her in this, but she actually goes in disguise to the Magic Center with her to do this. And so I was like, all right, she's what, 14? She's got some...
She's got balls.
She's got some stuff. She's got some stuff about her.
And it was cool because when Sayana was showing her how to switch out the spell paper, she was like, okay, pay attention. And then, like, we're going to do this to all of them. And then when she left to go to Ornhill's office, she expected her not to be done. And Kara was like, no, I'm done.
Yeah.
That's what made me suspicious. Cool. I was like, are you really done? Like, I don't know.
I mean, I didn't
pick that up yet. Yeah, I didn't pick that up.
It could be like, but I question everything, y'all. Like, I literally question
everything. You have to. Yeah.
You should. You have to. As you should. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was, Kara made it to my list. Yay, Kara. Tamil gets, like, he's still here. So he gets the win for saving Sayana. Like, very cool, very stand-up guy. And he knew it was going to be a no-win situation either way.
Right.
Yeah.
And he almost seems, he was like, I was lucky that all they did was beat me up. We have to run for our lives now, but, at least I'm still alive.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I appreciate his character development here. He serves as a beacon for Sayana to look to. And it's kind of ironic because she is like, men, Tamil, help me.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But not in a damsel in distress way. She's just very reasonable about it. Like, I need him right now. Like, this is how I function.
Yeah. Especially in that moment. Yeah.
I think that he likes being seen by her. He's had to hide his true nature for so long that she's finally seeing him for him and not for who he's been forced to be. And that's why he's so drawn to her. And she's so drawn to him because here's a guy who challenges her but doesn't make her feel dumb either.
Right. And he's completely different from any other man she's ever interacted with.
Exactly.
And so
he respects her rather than looks down on her.
I just love him, y'all.
Yeah. He's a great character. I love Tamil.
Love Tamil.
Love him.
Yeah. But yeah, those are my two, Kara and Tamil.
Awesome.
Well,
So one of mine, you kind of already brought, actually you brought up both, but I'm still going to bring them up just like briefly. So the first one was
okay.
Brigham. I agree with you, Ethan. I was just very disappointed to have it confirmed. Like I kind of called it in the second part of our episode, because in the first part, I was very much optimistic about him being a good guy. And then in the
Hmm.
second, whenever everything was revealed, I'm like, oh, he 100% knows. Like everybody knows, right?
Yeah.
So just having it confirmed, it was just so disappointing. And I'm telling you, it is really hard to find genuine mentors. Here we go. This is
Yeah.
what happens.
Right.
So here we go. I was actually really worried though. I really thought he was going to strike down on Sayana. I was waiting for the other shoe to drop the entire time. I was just like, what is he going to do to her now that she knows? He has to be planning something. He can't just let her go that easy, right? I was just
Well, I'm
waiting
glad
the whole
that
time.
Tamil made her promise to just play along with him because
True.
I think that if she hadn't remembered, oh, I need to play along, if she had pushed too hard, I think it probably would have gone in a completely different direction for
True.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, two things that he said that really stuck out to me. The first one was, it is not murder, when she was trying to tell him that what they were doing is murdering people. He said, it is not murder to use what God has gifted us. So we kind of already touched on like how people hide behind their religion in that way. And then the other one that kind of goes along with my earlier anger. And he says, many think that women are too soft for the work we do here, too weak for the burden of this knowledge. But I know you, Sayana Freynan. Your first devotion is to magic and advancement. Your head will clear. You will remember who you are, and you will move beyond this. So remember how we've been talking and going back and forth. Why did he choose her? Why is he choosing to bring her up if he knows that she is a woman who could potentially feel compassion, kind of like what we talked about in our last episode, right? And I think that he just chose her because he just recognized how smart she was. One, like he saw that in her. And then I think that he knew that she would contribute to the work and everything they were doing there, but he saw her as emotionless and fully devoted. That's exactly how she
Yeah.
was described in the very beginning. She didn't care about
Yep.
anybody or anything around her.
And she
She
says
only
so
cared
herself.
yeah, she is fully devoted to her religion. I mean, now she's finally kind of getting away from that, but we're still seeing a little bit of that. So I think that he saw that and was like, no, I can easily mold her into what I need her to be, you know?
It's so
Yeah.
genius on the founding mages' part to tie
Yeah.
their religion to their work. How do you
Yeah.
how do you deny that? You know, like if your
Exactly.
work
Yeah.
is perceived to be critical to your survival, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's not really any way to
Untouchable.
combat that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so he saw that in her and wanted to raise her up because he knew how smart she was and how much she was going to contribute, right?
Yeah. Like he sees a lot of the rest of them in her.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
He was almost like, you're just like us.
Right.
You get it.
Yeah.
And yes, she's like that, but she also has a heart and she also
But
has
only because
compassion.
Of Tamil.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
It's only because of
That's
him,
so
or
true.
else she would have just seen it as a trick of the light or something. She would just be like, no, that couldn't possibly happen, you
Or
know?
she would have accepted his first lie about it just being a curse.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was my first one, and then the second one was Kara. I actually really like her. I like that we're getting more of her in these chapters,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure we'll get more of her in the last few chapters. So I really love Kara. She's so unapologetically her, and I love it. I actually kind of laughed when she tried to stab Sayana. Thought that was kind of funny. Not that I want Sayana to die. I don't want her to die. I just thought that was funny the way she went about that.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, she has balls, y'all. Like, and
Yeah.
every time she like points out when Sayana's crying, she's like, "Oh my gosh, are you crying again?"
I know.
I
Yeah.
laughed so hard at that. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I love her sass. I
Yeah.
love Kara. I like Kara's character. I just don't know if I can trust her yet."
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, no, and honestly, I kind of think Sayana needs somebody like Kara around, like just to remind
Yeah.
her to be brave, to be courageous, to kind of have a rage in her that Sayana doesn't have, right? And so she needs that to move on with whatever plan she has.
Right.
Because with Tamil, she already has somebody who pushes her mind. And so I think that Kara just does that with her emotions too. Like she just puts a fire under her and like gets her going. So
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. I don't know what this whole plan thing is, but we'll see what happens.
It's so interesting how important Kara actually is.
Yeah.
Because she is literally the glue. If she was not there, none of this would be happening because Tamil would
True.
not be the same character.
Yeah.
Tamil needs Kara in order to be Tamil.
Right.
And Sayana needs Tamil to be a better version of Sayana.
Right.
And so it's very dependent. They're very dependent upon one another. And not in a bad way or unhealthy way, but that's just the fact.
Yeah.
And also, I just want to bring it back to Brigham real quick. I'm so, like, oh, he frustrates the hell out of me and infuriates me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I can't even hate you because you actually do believe in her. Like, that's why she's here. You believe in her work. You believe, even though she's a woman, that she can do incredible work in this field, but you're just evil. Like,
Right.
there's no other way around it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you suck, but thanks anyway.
Thanks for telling me I'm smart though.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks. All right, you guys. So now we have arrived to one of my favorite parts.
Yes.
Our theories or predictions. So I'll start us off. I've got a prediction. I'm with Tamil. I fear that exposing the truth is unfortunately not going to really make a difference. And honestly, I'm probably being cynical here just because of the injustices we know that are happening in the world, like in the real world.
Yeah.
And that like it doesn't really change what happens, you know. Just knowing or having the truth exposed doesn't really cause change. It doesn't really cause people to act against injustices that are happening. So and Tamil even brought it up, you know, to Sayana when they were talking about exposing the truth. He was like, they still treat us like not human inside of Tiran, you know. And he was explaining to her, I got beat up the way that women get treated in the workplace, the way he's been treated in the workplace, the way Kara had to grow up pretending to be a boy basically to try to avoid harm coming to her because she's a young growing into being a woman. So I really am obviously supportive of her mission right now to expose the truth. I'm just worried that it's not going to have the effect that she expects it to.
Yeah.
And it's ultimately going to cause her to get herself killed. Or Tommy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, I go back to what I said. Like, I just don't think that she's putting a lot of thought into this plan. And it's just not clever enough to do what I think she's hoping to do.
Right.
All right. So speaking of the plan, this is my prediction.
Okay.
I think she has pre-written her spell for the clear window on all of these pieces of paper. And I think she is hoping that might open people's eyes as to, like, now that they can actually see siphoning in action, because they know what it does, but they haven't seen it. Because even Brigham was like, you have a clear window. Like, others have done what you have done. They have tried to get a clearer image, but it sounds like she's the actual first one that's actually seen it.
Right.
And so I think that she thinks that that's what's going to turn everyone around. I don't, even with that, I think the lesson to be learned in this book is that you could be faced with actual evidence and still say, no, that's not what's happening, or no, that's not the case here. Like, people can just have their head in the sand that much. So even if that is the case of my prediction, I still don't think it's going to be enough, unfortunately. And I think the trigger of the failsafe is a fire. Like, if they don't, I think in her brain, that's the worst case scenario, that people see it and they still aren't willing to change.
Do nothing.
So if that happens and they continue doing their siphoning anyway, I think the trigger, like a coding language, is if the siphoning still takes place, then activate this. And I think that's like a fire, because we see the fire on the cover of the book, right?
Yeah.
And then there was an allusion to fire earlier with one of the other mages in history. So I think that might be the case here.
Interesting. Okay.
What was I going to say? People love this book, so there has to be some kind of amazing ending to this book.
I hope so.
Like,
I hope so.
Because
I'm
we're
getting
being
kinda
cynical
scared.
about the ending. Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
just like,
because-
I don't know if people will care.
I know, because I'm getting to the point where I'm like, okay, so there are 5 chapters left, and I just do not see how this is all going to work out. And like I
I'm
said,
right with you.
exactly.
Is this confirmed standalone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I don't know.
Yeah. There's going to be some kind of resolution.
Yeah. And like I've mentioned before already, and this is kind of going into my prediction or whatever, but like I said, Sayana's just not a color person, so I don't know what's going to happen. And then the fact that Tamil does not want to be a part of this plan also scares me, because he's the smarter one of the two when it comes to this kind of stuff. So he's like,
Yeah.
nope, I'm cleaning my hands of this. Whatever you want to do, that's going to be on you to do it. And so like that is already, to me, that's already going to fail, because he's not a part of this, right? And so honestly, like I love to come up with theories and predictions, and I'm kind of stuck on trying to figure out what's going to happen next. And so I'm just like, does that speak really well of the author, or because I don't know what's going to happen?
Yeah,
I have
no,
a theory.
I guess we'll see next time what we think.
Yeah.
Like
so
after how we feel now, how we feel about
right.
the ending, you
Because I
know.
will say, when I was sitting down to figure out my theory for our episode today, I was just like, what can it be? What can it be? What can it be? I just don't know. And then I thought back on my theory from our last episode about the Maedra, and I'm like, but they weren't brought up this time around. These 6 chapters, we didn't have anything on the Maedra. So I'm not really sure if my last theory is going to hold. Are all the women and the Quen going to rise up and fight? Is that what's going to happen? You know, they're the oppressed after all. Are we going to get like this tiny little rebellion at the end where they all stand up to fight? I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jury's out.
Yeah. So quick side note, I was listening to last week's episode, and we were talking about Sabernin and the mages that he killed, remember? And so what if like the people that he was actually trying to kill were the archmages, and the reason that he ended up killing these random mages was because he couldn't get that clear picture, so he accidentally killed the wrong people? What if he was trying to get rid of the
she
Madison?
did say to Tamil that she knows he wasn't able to create a clear picture because
Right.
it was messy the way that he killed the archmages
Exactly.
using
That's
the
what made me-
forbidden coordinates. So yeah, she confirmed that's exactly what happened. He couldn't really get a clear picture of who he was trying to target, so he was just like firing off kind of blindly.
He was probably trying to kill like the whole council.
Yeah, like I think that's what his goal was, and that's why I brought up I don't know if it was last time or the time before, that I think Sabernin probably told them about the truth, realized that they didn't give a fuck, and decided to just turn it back on them and try to
Yeah.
take them out.
Yeah.
But then they
Or
killed
maybe
him
he's
before that.
considered the traitor mage just because he was too curious for his own good. And maybe he didn't have any positive intention after all, but he just wanted to see what it actually does. Because I was like, if you don't have a clear image, how do you actually know that it takes life? Like,
Oh, you're right.
otherwise, it's just like bulky objects, right? That you
Right.
don't
He
actually
was-
see.
You can't
So
really
maybe
tell.
he's the traitor
Yeah.
mage because he's the first one that siphoned from the Forbidden Zone period and actually figured out that's what that does.
Oh, it kills people.
Yeah.
I think he's just such a random part of the story. Like, it kind of shows that, like, yes, obviously this is what happens to traitor, or this is what happens if you find out the truth and are not for it, right? Like, that's the only thing I can think of that's the only purpose I think he serves, is just like, you're just a reminder to people that if you don't follow what we believe in, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was just a side note. I was just thinking about that.
All right, book friends, that was the end of our deep dive on chapters 13 through 18 of Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wang. Let's keep the discussion going. We are Books Between Friends pod on all platforms. Thank you for interacting with us in our socials so far. We are loving the comments that we're getting, but we want more. Interact with us, please. We'd love to hear your thoughts. So we'll see you there.
All right, guys. On our next episode, we're diving into the finale of Blood Over Brighthaven with chapters 19 through 23. Come on, 5 chapters.
Yes.
Answer all my questions,
Please.
please.
Yeah.
After Sayana's shocking discovery that the entire Magistracy already knew the truth, she is determined to expose it to everyone. But what is her plan, and how will it all play out in the end? In our final episode, we'll close out the story together and share our final overall ratings for the book. You won't want to miss it.